All right, guys. I know it's been a little bit longer than expected, but finally got the video out for you guys. So let's get it started. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Drizzy Dre, and I'm back with another video for y'all today. So I know this video is a little bit overdue. The moving process kind of turned out to be a little bit longer than we expected, and we're finally kind of getting settled in. As you can tell by the echo in this room, I still do not have everything kind of set up the way I want to. So excuse me for the echo, but we're just gonna have to deal with it because I wanted to get this video out for you guys. So let's get started. All right, guys, so let's just get straight into the video. As most of you guys know, I did end up getting my phone about a week early than the actual release date. I don't know why AT&T decided to send it out to me so early. My wife just kind of randomly checked our order status and it said it had been shipped. So in my mind, I was thinking, maybe they just created the shipping label and nothing had actually been processed yet. But when we went to FedEx and actually checked the order, it said it had been shipped and it would be delivered that Friday, which was Friday the 11th. So I went to work that morning, got back home a little bit early, and I was just kind of patiently waiting at the house. And for the most part, FedEx would usually drive by our house and finish that side of the street, turn around, and then come hit us if they had anything to drop off that day. So I kind of waited and waited and waited. Finally saw him pass by, and then I kind of stood up and I was waiting by the door for him to pass back by. And as he passed by, he just kept going. So at first I was like, what's going on? Because online it said it had actually been loaded onto the delivery vehicle. So again, I'm thinking in my mind, like, it's supposed to be here, and he just kept driving. Fast forward about 15 minutes and he actually pulls back around and pulls straight into our driveway and then gets off the car with the package. So I got super excited. I did that unboxing video for you guys, and if you haven't checked that out, check it out up top. But I did that unboxing video for you guys because I really wanted to get into the package and get the phone in my hands. So now I want to do like a deep dive into the three major things that I've noticed since owning this phone compared to the Fold 1. So let's get straight into that part. So one of the first things, and probably one of the biggest things you guys are going to notice when you get this phone in your hand compared to the Fold 1 is going to be the hinge. Now that's not to say that the Fold 1 hinge is bad, but now that I've had this phone for a little bit over a week now, I can definitely tell you there's been some major improvements to this thing, and they put a lot of time into perfecting this thing. So I just want to start off by saying they have said that they put a bunch of cams and extra pieces in there to be able to hold it up at pretty much any angle you want to. I mean, you could prop this thing up sideways if you want to, and it's not going to fold, close, or open. It stays open however you want it to, as long as it's not teeter-tottering over. And as you can tell by the Fold 1, if you try and prop this thing up, it's either going to flap open and it wants to be either closed or shut. There's kind of no in between. So this thing is miles and miles better compared to the Fold 1. And there's a lot more stuff you can do to put that to use, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. But as far as just, the hinge in general, this thing is great. So a quick little side note to the changes that they've done to the hinge is something that they call flex mode. So while there's only a few apps that you can actually take advantage of this feature with, there's two of them that I actually use on a daily basis, and that's going to be the camera app and the YouTube app. So if you open up the camera app, you can actually use the top half as the viewfinder and use the bottom half as your settings, and actually seeing some of your previous shots to be able to see what you shot or what you didn't like about the previous shot and kind of change it on the fly. Also, it helps to be kind of like a tripod kickstand to be able to set your phone up, walk away, and take a few pictures, and you can actually be your own cameraman at that point. For YouTube, you can actually set this thing up in several different ways. There is a stand-up way so where you can see it kind of in an L shape, and you can kind of prop it up on your side desk or whatever you want to, so that way you can kind of watch videos and have it propped up and don't have to hold the phone. Or you can flip it over into tint mode and actually have it propped up that way, so that way it's not scratching up your screens, which is probably going to be the way that I run it. And last but not least, you can actually set it up to be able to see comments and scroll through the comments of the videos and be able to watch the video on the top half while replying to comments and not have it interrupt the video on the top half. On to one of the next things that they've changed on this phone, and one thing you might notice is going to be the camera setup. So while the Fold 1 had 6 cameras on it, this thing only has 5, which again, I think probably still overkill, but let's kind of run through everything. So the Fold 1 had a camera on the outside front display, it had 2 on the inside display, and then 3 on the back of the phone. The Fold 2 actually only has 5, so it has 1 on the outside display, 1 on the inside, and then 3 on the back. So I will say, after owning the Fold 1 for almost a year now, I never really used the inside camera or the front facing camera too often. I would usually just try and opt for using the back camera just because of resolution and quality and stuff like that. So I would usually opt for that one. Now on the Fold 2, there is an option to be able to take a selfie while using those back cameras. And all you do is you click a button at the top right of the screen. It's gonna tell you to open the phone, and it's gonna let you use the back cameras to take a picture while actually being able to see yourself on the front display. Now this can come in handy in two different ways. One is, if you're vlogging and you wanna make sure your scene is kind of set up and you're in focus and a view of the camera. And then two is going to be for, let's just say you're taking a group picture and everybody wants to kind of see what they look like before you actually take the picture. They can see themselves in that little front display as well. So it's going to come in super handy, and I'm really looking forward to using that, whether I'm using it for vacation or something like that. I will be putting that to use very often. All right, moving on to one of the final things that we're going to talk about. And one of the biggest things you're going to notice when you pull this phone out of the box is going to be the screens. So let's start with the front one first. So on the Fold 1, you had a 4.6 inch, and on the Fold 2, you got bumped up to a 6.2 inch. And the Fold 2 is a little bit wider than the Fold 1, so typing's a little bit easier. It's still kind of finicky, but I usually use swipe text, and that works fine for me. But as far as the forehead and the chin on the Fold 1, that thing is completely gone now. So now at the very top of the screen, all you have is a hole punch cut out, and it makes it a little bit easier to enjoy content, and definitely a lot better to be able to scroll through feeds on Facebook or Twitter and anything like that. It makes it a lot more usable, and definitely a viable option as far as using it as just a regular phone. So moving on to the main screen, that thing got bumped up from a 7.3 inch to a 7.6 inch. Now, while that doesn't seem like a lot, the little black bezel that goes around the whole screen actually got reduced by 27%, and the camera cutout on the top right is completely gone again. You're just gonna have a little hole punch cut out at the top right, and that's gonna be the only thing obstructing your view of the whole screen on the inside. Another thing that they've added to the main screen on the inside is going to be that UTG, or the ultra thin glass that Samsung has came up with and is able to be able to fold just because of how thin it is. And it makes the phone a little bit more durable. Again, I wouldn't drop this thing or try and take it outside too much, but it does make it a little bit more durable. And they've actually added a pre-installed screen protector on this thing to help protect from the little scratches and nicks and stuff like that that you might get inside your pocket or from anything outside. So one of the last things that they did was made the main screen 120 hertz refresh rate. And while that seems really cool and super nice, they didn't share the love with the front outside display, and that one is still capped at 60 hertz. So you will see slight differences whenever you open the phone and close the phone, but it's not too big of a deal. And like I said, the outside screen is mostly just for answering calls and texts and stuff like that, or just watching a quick video here and there. The inside display is going to be where everything kind of happens. All right, guys, so just to kind of go over a final overview and my thoughts over the phones, I will say after owning the Fold 1, I didn't see, the hinge or the camera cutouts as too much of a problem. Yeah, they were there and they were kind of an eyesore, but after a while, you get used to them. Now that I have the Fold 2 in my hands, I will say that it made that kind of stand out even more now, because now I could see what Samsung could actually do and what they're capable of putting into the phone and taken away from the phone, obviously. But I will say that this makes the Fold 1 definitely look like a first-gen product, and this thing is miles and miles ahead of it. I feel like this phone is actually probably 2 or 3 years advanced compared to the Fold 1, and it's only been a year, so they've made some major changes, and I applaud Samsung for that, because they could have actually just kind of slowly put stuff out, kind of like Apple does, and waited until everything was completely refined. But they wanted to be one of the first ones in the folding phone market, and they did a pretty good job of it, but this refinement makes it feel a whole lot better. So I will say I don't recommend everybody to go out and get this phone, because it is super expensive, and if you break it, that's a lot of money to have to pay. I was fortunate to be able to, just like I said, kind of go out and do it. If you're broke, I would have to figure something out about another phone, but put my all into the Fold 1, and it paid off for me. And now the Fold 2 is definitely a better upgrade, and I do recommend the phone if you have the money for it, but don't go out and spend all your last little bit of money just to get this phone, because I don't feel like it's that much worth it. You should definitely think about yourself and your family first, but to each their own. Like I said, do what you want. I recommend the phone as far as an actual phone. It's really good. It's super nice, and then you have the portability of a pocket-sized tablet in your pocket at all times. So I will leave it there, guys. I don't want to make this video too long. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and again, like I said, I'm sorry for it taking a few extra days. I just wanted to make sure I got kind of everything in line and we got moved in. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and tap that notification bell, and I'll be putting out some more future videos of this stuff, kind of comparing the refresh rate and stuff like that compared to the Fold 1 and the Fold 2, so you guys can kind of see that for yourself. So hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys later. Have a good one.